Hi there, it's Erin, and I decided to film in front of my fish tank. I have been having trouble with the mic that I had purchased, so I'm winging it, and I apologize if the audio might not be that great. I have some finished projects, two of them, the Yara shawl and the Mossblossom cowl wrap, and then I also wanted to just share before I show those. Today I was gifted an amazing piece of art in the form of a flour sack that apparently some dear friends from New Mexico are visiting my family nearby, and not visiting me, but stopped by today and brought me this gift from New Mexico from a group that teaches children and refugees to make art on flour sacks. It's like a block print, and I just thought, I don't know how this is going to appear, but isn't that amazing? It's just so beautiful. Anyway, that was really unexpected gift that I received today. And I always appreciate textile work and any artwork. And then I've been also grateful thinking about that my sister, who is an artist herself, not only she made, that was one of her earlier pieces that she made in these little blocks of wood, and then she developed into a technique of making these little shrines inside wooden boxes, and her work is at a local gallery, and she's also a creativity coach. If anyone wants information about her, I can just put a comment below this video, and then I will send you the link to her work. But she gifted me this, and I realized I don't think I even had it out until recently. I saw it again. I was going through some stuff, and this was one of her very earliest shrine pieces. And I was at the time going through a divorce and really difficult, challenging time. And so she gave me this symbol of courage. All of her work has usually a phrase or a quote from somebody, and great layers of meaning in her work. And you will see, obviously, what this is a very simple message. It just says courage at the top, and then persevere gently. So up here is the word courage, and then at the bottom it says persevere gently. But I just love this now that I have this by my desk, and it's just so perfect for these times that do require a lot of courage, I believe. So many of us are just struggling with anxiety and overwhelming sadness for the way we see people being treated. So I thought I would just share these little bits of joy. And I've started something new to help myself emotionally. Let me set this down. Oh, I just found below the fish tank, I forgot I had this other piece made by her, which is a little world of there's a fish in this, a goldfish in this, and it's like these little mirrors below. And I believe this was like an old metal drawer, possibly. I'll have to ask her again, but, and then there's a tiny bird. No, this is a bead, sorry, that's holding the fish, and a little boy and a dog. Let me see if it has, this one I don't, oh, on the back it says consulting the Great Carp Oracle. Usually her pieces have words somewhere. And it's just spinning on its own. It's really cool. It has movement, even though I'm not really doing anything because it's just hanging by a bead. And I always forgot I keep this below my fish tank and just haven't looked at it very closely. So thank you, Sarah. And actually, I would love to have her on video if she is willing to do an interview where I could interview her about her work. That would be fun. And so I wanted to just mention this thing that I was going to say that I've been trying, and it really feels like it's made a shift in my overall sense of moving forward instead of feeling stuck. And that is that every morning when I wake up, instead of reaching for scrolling my phone first, because I have my alarm on my phone and that's usually what gets me up in the morning, I say the words out loud, I am happy to be alive. That's all I do, and it really just helps me focus in on the fact that that's a great starting point. Just, if nothing else goes right in the day, I am happy to be alive. That is my first conscious thought, and I'm trying to just do that each morning. And I found that it has been helping a bit. I'd be interested to know if anyone out there has suggestions of what they do in these times that are troubling a lot of people and creating a lot of anxiety. What have you found that works for you? Okay. I thought I have this deck of cards that is kind of an oracle deck. I don't know if you're familiar with what an oracle deck is, but it's not tarot cards. It's like, you can just shuffle this deck of images or phrases and then just kind of take it as a guiding image or phrase for that week. Like, let's say that's what I tend to do, is just pick one once a week. And it kind of just gives me a tone for that week that I reflect on. And you can pretty much make anything into a deck of oracle cards. But the craziest thing happened where a week ago, I was in a group of people that were making vision collages, and I've been having so much trouble just thinking about a future. This week, I submitted my 208th job application. So at a certain point, I'm finding it so hard to sustain hope, and my costs in living, thanks to a lot of the societal changes, are just going up and up beyond just food. And so I just have been stressing a lot about that. And I just mentioned to this group of people that were making these vision board collages, that they were asking us to go around and just talk about one sentence about what we were feeling in that moment. And I just found myself saying, I want to feel hope again. And I had a lovely time with this small group of people, and then came home and I shuffled my oracle deck, and I do as I always do, and I just ask as I'm shuffling, what message do you have for me? And I kid you not, I've never seen this card before. I flipped it over. Isn't that amazing? So that gave me hope. I do have to say, sometimes I seem to tune into some greater forces. I'm sure that I'm a believer that just as the physical realm has tangible things, there is also an invisible realm. At least that's the basis that I can understand. I don't understand all the complex physics of quantum, everything that a lot of the sort of thought leaders talk about. But I can just appreciate that just equal to a physical, visible world, there must be an invisible world. And so I just like to believe that that has an impact on our lives. And I don't know what to call that force, but that was pretty cool. And so I just thought I would shuffle these right now and just ask. Oh, by the way, this deck is a Buddha Doodles card deck. And the artist is Molly Hahn, Hahn, her last name. You can look her up under Molly Hahn or Buddha Doodles. Buddha Doodles. And she used to live in California. That's when I first encountered her work about 10 years ago. And I've followed her ever since. Now she's in Denmark, I believe. And is, from time to time, she teaches a few doodle classes online. She is just a very gifted and remarkable person and artist. And she has these two, she's just had a lot of challenges in her life. And this is a form, her art became her way of really coping with life and making it through a lot of hard times. And they're just so simple. She has these characters. I believe it's a little monk, and then who I believe is named Ooti, Ooti, I believe, and then an elephant that is always beside him that represents compassion, and I forgot if his name was Zed or something like that. I should have looked it up before, but anyway, they appear in most of her drawings. Occasionally there's other characters as well. So I'm just shuffling these, and I thought I would just ask what message would be helpful for the greatest number of people right now. Okay, this is the one I drew, and it's a girl with I believe that's her little white dog. She did or does own a little white dog, and it says, give yourself permission to wander. That's a wonderful message for any time. Okay, so thank you, Molly of Buddha Doodles. Now, this has been a year of mosaic knitting for me. I've completed my third project of mosaic knitting, and this is by far the most elaborate and I think gorgeous. And it is the Yara shawl, and it turned out it was just such a fun journey to make. And I'm now hooked on Natasha Hornby's patterns. Now that I've made 2 wraps of hers, and her latest one that I think it's the most recent, came out last month, I am intending to make. I started one of the halter top kind of thing, and then it's meant to be a light, like I'm making it out of cotton and bamboo for summer, and then it has a cardigan pattern that goes over it, and she has titled it this top is the Louise, and the cardigan is Thelma. And that is just so perfect because shout out to my generation for the movie Thelma and Louise was quite a turning point to have two women central characters. Badass women, I might add. Okay, this is the Yara shawl. And I learned so much doing this, and I love all these patterns. Okay, I'll be quiet because I don't know if it can pick up my voice behind it. Let me just start from one end. So come winter, it is really warm right now, but come winter, this would be such a perfect wrap to just, it's so nice and long, just pull around. And with such great textures and patterns in it. This stitch right here is just something I've never seen before or done. And it kind of looks like fish scales to me, and I love it. And then this whole panel at the base is based off of Moroccan textiles when she was in Morocco. Apparently she's been a world traveler and designs a lot of things based off of her travels. I'm not quite sure if she teaches knitting in other countries and that's why she travels, but anyway, I better take this off or I'm gonna be just sweat. But the cool thing is this is also made from recycled wool, which means they put the mill ends from a mill and mix it with some newer wool, but it's like 50% recycled wool. So that, I thought that's really cool. I've never made anything from recycled wool. And it's really just a light texture. The wool was very thin. It's almost like thinner than fingering weight, but it is a fingering weight, so you can use any fingering weight for this pattern. And then these pops of color are DK weight, and she actually recommends even using like worsted weight to make them pop out physically more. But I just happen to have these colors on for a little pop. So that is the Yara. I'll have to get some better photos from afar so it's like you can really see the whole thing. And then I have showed this a gazillion times, but it is this rectangle, and I should take a picture of me in the woods with a different shirt on. Wait, let me see if I take this. Because then if I wore this in the woods, I feel like I would blend in and be like a wood nymph or something. So this is the Mossblossom wrap. And you just, it's like a big rectangle that you just sew at one shoulder. It actually, the pattern called for only sewing the first 2 inches over here. But if I did that, it would just like fall off my body. And I'm not sure exactly if that is intended or it's meant for people with much broader shoulders than me. But at any rate, it's just like a very nice light wrap for evenings, especially in fall, or walking through the mossy woods. I intend to. And this and this, these two have some silk in it, so they're just a little bit more shiny. And this green is wool. And you could make it all in one color. It's just these are the yarns I happen to have, and I've been really trying to consciously work through the stash that I have and make things using that. The only purchases I've made are for very inexpensive cotton, because I've been trying to make summer things. And so I started on that Louise top, and it looks like a bra, but it is the back of it. In this, what is this color called that I always forget what that really shocking green. Anyway, it sort of matches. Oh my gosh, it totally looks cool with the plant in the fish tank. Maybe I should put it in the fish tank. But anyway, I've never made anything like this, and it's made from a yarn that is half cotton, half bamboo, very light. And I just think it's a brilliant design. And it just has, it's just, again, this is the same designer. I'm thinking I'm going to go on a real kick and just make everything she designs now. She's the same designer of the Yara shawl. And the, what else did I just recently make? The other mosaic piece. I should get my mosaics together and just all in one do a little show, even though I've already shown them. Okay. So the next thing is that I'm working on is I've found a source for the best cotton that I have found to work with. Any knitter knows that working with 100% cotton compared to wool or animal fiber is like, and most plant fibers are this way, but specifically cotton, it's harder on your hands to work with generally. And it is, I compare it to like if you're a runner or a distance walker walking on cement versus the ground, the earth that has some give to it. So working with cotton is like working with cement, basically. Like your hands, it has no give. So as you're working with it, I think that's why a lot of people's hands get sore from it. But I have to say, this brand, I'm not getting any kickbacks for this or anything. I'm just saying, this entire skein was under $4 on sale though. But it is from a company called Premier, and I believe that they source from Turkey. There's that one other yarn line from Turkey that they do brilliant color combinations. I think it's Earth or URTH yarn line. Anyway, that one's from Turkey as well, and I've seen a lot of incredible color combinations. But this line is called Cotton Sprout, and it is worsted weight, which is kind of hard to find in cotton. I'm finding, at least when I looked around, and I absolutely love this color combination because it reminds me of my New Mexico childhood. The colors are very much the colors of New Mexico. And what it is that I'm working on, I got several of these, got enough yarn of different colors to make several of these and attempt to likely sell them at like a winter marketplace kind of thing for holiday. Be the first time I'm gonna just try to sell something from a free pattern. And this is a Purl Soho pattern. It's for a tote. And so far, I was going to try to finish this, but I thought if I just wait to finish everything, I'll never record. So, because life. So let me just hold this up. I have two pairs of needles because one of them's holding the other handle, but so it's this bag. This is a small one, and it's perfect size. I think you could fit a laptop in here, or some books, or groceries. And the handle, there will be another similar handle to this one. And it's an easily memorizable pattern. And I think these would sell. There's like a panel that is for the base that is garter stitch rectangle. And then you pick up the stitches from around the rectangle. And I found a great tutorial I will link for how to most securely pick up from the garter stitch edge, pick up stitches so that it's the most sturdy and doesn't have like gaps in it, which is perfect for a bag. And then you just do stockinette stitch all the way up, go to 9 inches, start building the handles. And I will show you a picture of the finished look of it. This is a very easily memorizable pattern once you get the hang of the decreases, but at the very end in the handles there is Kitchener stitch. And I know for most sock knitters that's a no-brainer, but for me, every single time I do it, I have to look up this tutorial, and I will also link that tutorial if you are in the same boat where you have to watch a tutorial to do Kitchener stitch, because it's the only one that has worked for me, and it's by a woman that calls herself, her business is Chili Dog Knits, I think. I'll link it so you can just have a tutorial for that. But yeah, isn't that gorgeous? Like, I just love this color combination. I mean, it's only gorgeous if you like it. But these I believe each bag would take me about a week if I was doing it every night, as I do knit every day. And so I wonder how many bags could I make by December, considering that this is not the only thing I will be doing, but okay, here's a good picture of the shape of it, which I think is just so perfect. It's just, even though the bag size is fairly shallow here, because the sleeves, the handles are just so broad, that there's so much cloth in there, you could just, if you were in France, you could just stick a few baguettes in there and it wouldn't fall out. Anyway, so that's exciting. I'm just going to be making a bunch of those aside from my other knitting. And I'll just mention, in case anyone out there is interested, I just made my favorite inexpensive vegan meal for summer, which was chopped up cabbage, green cabbage, grated carrots, tofu squares, and you can add rice to this or not, but then you just slice up 1 clove of garlic in there, rice wine vinegar, and tamari sauce or soy, whatever you prefer. And then you can I add ginger as well for the seasoning, the garlic and ginger. Oh, and sesame oil or what's that stuff called? Tahini. I get tahini in like a tube that is one of those squeeze bottles, so that way it's new to me. I've always seen tahini in these like cans, and then it always goes bad before I can finish the whole can of it. And so this this way I get it in the squeeze bottle and you can pour it into anything. And I use it regularly. It's great sesame flavoring if you eat a lot of tofu and beans like I do. So I know this is chatty and a lot of stuff that you probably aren't interested in, but if anyone has still made it this far, thank you for being with me. And I hope everyone takes care out there. Take care of yourself. Be good to yourself. And I will see you in August at some point to record. Maybe I can convince my sister to come on and we can do a real... There are questions I would love to ask her, even though I live fairly close to her in like a few towns away. And it's not... So it's just ridiculous that I don't communicate that much with my siblings. It's kind of sad. Anyway... it's just reminding me of how much they do care for me because, I got the artwork from these lovely people that I'm related to. And, yeah. So I think that's it. I'm looking right now at the sheep. I wonder if I turn this camera around, if they will still be in the position. Let's see. Let me see if I can get it off the tripod. I'll just walk you over to look at the sheep outside the window. Sorry to be looking through the fence, but these little guys they hang out very close to my space, and we had a little bit of drama. We had to build this makeshift fence close to my space, my cottage, because, or the cottage I rent, because we were trying to move them from one part of the property to the next. And they insisted on lying right against my house and then started to chew the sides of my house. And so we had to build a buffer between the house and them. So there's like different layers of fencing. But they are the cutest things, and I love being able to just watch them and knit with their wool. And again, these are sheep on loan, so the owner does not own them. They are here with us for the season, and basically all I do is change their water. I'm not a shepherd, but I am learning that they are total characters as far as animals go. Their hearing is apparently their strongest sense, and so they are very responsive to sound, and boy did I feel sorry for them on the 4th of July. But it looks like there is a rabbit or something. Anyway, I know you can't see what I'm looking at. So I better sign off, and I'll leave you with images of some of the flowers near me. I don't know why they insist on eating dead grass instead of all the grass that's available to them, but maybe it makes their stomachs feel better. I have no idea. Okay. Adios.